fired up to keep this podcast in play. If this is your first time to the Real Estate Locker Room Show, welcome. The goal here is to deliver you some actionable advice that you're able to use to elevate your real estate game today. Whether you're a industry pro, like a real estate agent, this podcast goes out to you folks, or you're sitting on the sidelines waiting to get into the game and become an investor. Welcome to the show that believes that real estate is a team sport. Now, today is episode number 88, and joining me from Bali, Indonesia is none other than Jeffrey Brogger, and we're going to talk about lead generation in his awesome business, STEEZY.Digital. Welcome to the show, Jeffrey.
Thanks, John. I'm excited to be on it. I love the format and looking forward to getting this going.
Yeah, fired up. All right. Well, you're in Bali, Indonesia, known for surfing, amongst other things. I like to stretch out. And talk a little bit about sports. Are you a surfer?
Yes, I've been surfing for over 20 years.
I don't think I could hang with you on those shallow breaks out there at Uluwatu.
I was there the other day.
Nice. And it was pumping, huh?
Pumping. Yep. Double overhead. And yeah, walking out onto the reef and ankle deep, and then you paddle out and your waist or maybe shoulder deep once the tide comes in. But it can be dangerous for sure, but it's something that I love. And I've always been attracted to not only team sports, but also extreme sports, surfing, motocross, and all of them. So I have a really wide range of experience when it comes to sports.
Cool. I mean, do you have a favorite athlete from, that you admire and inspires you, maybe their training discipline or their achievements on the field or in their area of expertise?
Yeah. And I have so many because I played baseball for 12 years growing up. I played all kinds of just recreational sports with my friends, football, basketball, all of them. And then I also did motocross at a high level, surfing, all the board sports, wakeboarding. So I actually have a lot of favorite athletes, but as far as just discipline, work ethic, I'd say Kelly Slater sets apart from every other athlete that I have ever paid attention to, just because if you think about it and you really look at the stats, there's kind of nobody like him, even compared to like a Tiger Woods or something like that. He's the youngest surfer to ever win the world circuit and the oldest. So he actually was in the world circuit before anyone else was winning. I mean, at like 18, 19 and winning the world circuit of surfing. And then he still is at it today. He's an animal. So it's pretty wild. And he doesn't get enough credit, I think.
Welcome, show, to the Kelly Slater podcast, because I could talk about Kelly for ages. Very fortunate to have seen him surf and catch a barrel at Bells Beach during a Rip Curl Pro back when I lived in Australia. But I mean, I got to see all those guys, right? Mick Fanning, Kelly Slater. You just, run down the list of who's been on tour for the last 10 years. Right. And, they're just amazing athletes. But it all comes down to their discipline. And, I love the intersection of competitive business, because I believe it's all competitive, and that's what makes it fun and keeps you on your toes. But, athletes like Kelly Slater, talk a little bit about him in case people don't know about the surfing, and then we can move on to your niche in the business.
No, 100%. And I love you pointing out the intersection between sports and business, because it really does have a huge overlap. A lot of the things that I learned from sports, I still apply to business today. And so we can get to that. But for anyone who doesn't understand, professional surfing, or, maybe Kelly Slater is, you've just never even heard of him because you're not into this sport, I totally understand. It's something that back in the 60s, 70s wasn't even that popular, but now today, it is a much more globally recognized sport, and there's a lot more money behind the sport in general. And the only reason actually it's not in the Olympics is because they don't have a set course that everyone is able to experience that doesn't change. So the reason why is because every single wave is different. The tide's coming up, the wind is occurring, which is affecting how the waves are breaking. So there's so many elements that are changing all the time. Think about a wave, it's moving, right? It's literally the definition of the sport is that you're catching something that's moving. So because not every athlete has the same fair set as a course, it's not in the Olympics. But that's why actually Kelly Slater went and he has created the Kelly Slater wave pool, right? And he's trying to create these conditions that are consistent. That way it can be recognized at that level. So Kelly Slater has just done so much for the sport to project it forward. And for anyone who's ever tried surfing, you might think that you have a certain degree of certainty with your balance or your coordination, and then you go try to paddle into waves and you're being held under. You got to hold your breath at certain times. You're paddling. It's this cardio workout. It's this endurance workout. And then on top of it all, you're supposed to like pop up and balance and figure out which way to go with the wave. And so there's a lot going on. And once you really get into it and then you see the pros, it's jaw dropping. I mean, the tier that the pros are at compared to a semi-pro surfer and then compared to an amateur surfer is so far. I've been surfing 20 years and I would not even consider myself a semi-pro surfer. Like those guys are incredible. So it's just one of those things where you can really catch the bug and get hooked. And the way that I apply it to business is it creates so much patience in you as a person. It creates so much humility. And one of my friends said it best: if you chase every wave, you will catch none. And it's the same thing with my entrepreneurial ADD. If I don't focus and really think about the one thing that's most important right now for my business and life and put energy into that, well, guess what? I'm going to be paddling 10 meters or 30 feet this way for that wave. And then I'm going to get really excited and paddle 30 meters back the other way, but actually catch neither of them. Right. And so I think that's a really, really important point, that you have to have patience. Everything good takes time. So you might have to let a seemingly good opportunity pass by. But once you know that that one thing is what needs to happen right now for your business, chase it all the way to the shore. Right. So that's kind of how I apply it to business.
I love it. I love the analogy too, because it's true. And one of the biggest things in surfing, I just to let the audience know and yourself know, I consider myself a like an advanced intermediate beginner. I have a great time doing it. Skiing's my jam, but you end up on a beach someday with a surfboard. You get drawn to those type of sports, and I love being in the ocean. And right now, I love teaching my kids. I love pushing my kids out, and on the dad breaks with all the little groms. But I mean, it's the positioning. You've got to condition yourself, right? You got to be in condition to swim, paddle. That's a whole different muscle group. And then you have to know how to position yourself. So, I mean, I think that's it's a great sport we haven't dove into yet. And I love the way you explained it. So let's ride the wave into your business and talk about your success story. And you've got a great product. We'll have a link to your website, STEEZY.Digital, but that's exactly, you cater specifically towards real estate agents, and you do a lot of work for them. And let's hear how that evolved.
Sure. So STEEZY.Digital, by the way, STEEZY means style with ease. It's actually a surf skate term. So there you go. I'm glad we chose surfing for the sport to dive into and stretch out. But STEEZY.Digital started 3 years ago, and we really had the vision to help top 1% real estate brokers with all of the digital stuff. We saw this opportunity in the marketplace where there were amazing real estate brokers who had been doing this for 20 years, 25 years. They were incredible at interpersonal communication skills. They had the sphere of influence. They had a great referral basis. But honestly, a lot of younger agents were passing them up on Facebook, Instagram, on just the newer technology platforms. So I thought, what if we could just help them with that side of the business, with the generating leads from, inexpensive sources, rather than them investing so much into like Zillow and all these really expensive lead sources. what if we could run their Facebook ads, help them boost their social presence, but then have it tie back to an actual lead generation funnel that we build for them that gets them ROI from this. It's not just putting up a pretty video. It's actually, no, the intent is to then generate a buyer or seller lead from it, right? And so go that extra step, but run it for them. That way they wouldn't have to. So that was the whole thought. We got a few early clients that trickled down their real estate knowledge to us, and we trickled our marketing and technology experience to them, and we were able to build an amazing system. And then if you fast forward then about 18 months, like halfway through the 3-year journey, a lot of individual agents kept coming to us. And so my current project right now is we still have STEEZY.Digital and all of our higher ticket clients that are, you know, top brokers, and it's been amazing to work with them. But a lot of individual agents said, I would love this, right? We created this system. You know, how much is it? Like, how can you set this up for me? Well, frankly, it was geared more towards us installing it for a broker and doing everything for them, kind of acting as a marketing agency. So I thought, well, what if I could create more of a software as a service model where it was less expensive, a younger individual agent who was tech savvy and could set some of this stuff up and take the time to do it if they had templates or training. What if there was a platform for them? And we could use everything that we've learned. The most expensive part is the trial and error of all this stuff. So we already have all these templates and all this training. So I basically repurposed it. I mean, it took a lot longer than I thought, but that is fully launched, and that is called realnurture.io. So it's an agent platform with templates training, how to set up Facebook ads, how to set up your real estate chatbot. I mean, how to set up all the new cutting edge stuff. And you can do it for a fraction of the cost that, you know, either a marketing agency would go do it for you. You can set it up for a fraction of the cost of that. But even of other similar, you know, platforms out there, it's very competitively priced. So our mission is just to empower 100,000 realtors with technology. And I really think that realnurture.io will take us there because our bandwidth is limited on the STEEZY.Digital side. You know, we want to help, but I think Real Nurture has the true potential to scale.
That's pretty cool. I mean, you know, so I have my license. It's not my primary gig, so to speak, but I work on transactions that are within our business. And it's just like anything. When you go into business, if you're new to being a real estate agent, you have to invest in your lead generation skills, right? You can make your list, which they still teach, right? Make your list, friends and family. You got to do all that stuff. You kind of always have to be doing that stuff if you're going into sales or if you're going into business for yourself. But then, you know, you've got to let the technology run for you. So it sounds like what you're able to do. Correct me if I'm wrong or repeating what you're already saying. Is you've got the templates. You have the secret sauce. Your job is to let real estate agents get the people out there in the world to contact you so you can do what you really like to do. And that is, you know, set those appointments. And correct? And
Yes.
Does it work both on the listing side for finding people who are looking to actively sell their house as well as on the buyer side for people that are actively looking for a house? Does it interact both ways?
It does. Yes. So it's primarily residential real estate on the buying and selling level. So that's what it's really focused on. And with STEEZY.Digital, we're able to do custom campaigns. So some agents are going for motivated sellers and they're more of an investor type of agent. That's fine. We can structure those campaigns. It's just a little bit different. Those are some of the most expensive leads. So we want to make sure to vet that potential client, make sure the campaign is going to be a success based on our experience and not undersell the campaign and give it too little ad spend. And we already kind of know those things. So if you're going for a more complex type of lead or a more expensive type of lead, we can run it. We just make sure to have a free consulting call with you first and let you know kind of what you're in for, make sure you're committed to the length of the campaign it's going to take to convert it. And so that's really the value of working with agency that does this specifically is, you know, we've already done it. And, you know, we're happy to help out if it's outside of the normal wheelhouse. But yeah, realnurture.io, buyer seller leads, normal transaction type stuff all day. That's what all those templates are built for.
That's fantastic. I mean, what a resource, that you're bringing to the industry. What are some of the challenges you faced, right? Just like sports, what are some of the obstacles that you faced, penetrating the market with new technology?
Well, once we introduced realnurture.io, a lot of this stuff is so second nature to me because I've spent so much time learning it that I underestimated the onboarding curve. Meaning, if I just give a real estate agent access to videos and templates, they're going to be able to set up my system exactly how I set it up and have the same results. Well, it turns out it takes a lot more onboarding than that. And it's no fault to the realtor. It's not that, the realtor is incapable of this. In fact, they're doing so many things. They have so many hats on every single day that they just don't have the time to master stuff like this. And I really wanted it to be as user-friendly as possible. So, that's why it's taken about 18 months to get Real Nurture to where it is today, to where an agent can go in. It has as few onboarding steps as possible. We do all the heavy lifting. And actually now we include concierge onboarding to where they have one of our team members step-by-step walk them through how to get their first Facebook ad launched, link to their chatbot, get the whole thing rolling so that they can witness the magic of that first Facebook lead coming in, instantly getting integrated with their CRM, and a real estate chatbot message sending to them automatically. And they have their phone in their hand watching the Facebook Messenger conversation happen in front of them. That's the moment that I want all of them to experience. The challenge we had to go through is that a lot of clients would begin and not even get to that point. They wouldn't even get to the point where that first Facebook lead came in and it was all integrated and set up right. So that was a big challenge over the last 18 months is, STEEZY.Digital, when we were running everything internally and I was slowly building my team over the 3-year span, that was in fact a little bit easier because once the sale was done and we got the marketing retainer coming in and okay, cool, we did what we did best. We built a campaign, we got results. But actually one of the tougher things recently has been, okay, now how do I scale this and allow agents to easily, seamlessly onboard to Real Nurture and be able to set this stuff up for themselves? Or turns out now that we've learned, it does take a little bit of our help in the beginning, but once it is up and running, from there, it's a little bit more plug and play. So,
yeah, I mean, it sounds great. I mean, in our business, we're in the multifamily business, and over the last few years, the conversation on about lead generation, the different internet ILSs, right, internet lead sources, the different ways that we use technology, it really comes down to you're bringing the people to the agent, and then it's their job, hopefully, to convert them. Would you say that built into your system do you have touch points built into your system so that leads are really prepped for the close, so to speak, when they come in? Like, is that another expectation that you find your ideal clients have? That's kind of a weird question. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I understood where you're going with it. So we do have major focus on the lead nurture, on the follow-up after the lead is generated. And that actually happened by accident. It happened because we were doing a lot of cutting edge things for real estate brokers. We wanted to think outside the box, not just use email, because emails, so many people have thousands of unread emails. Yes, they'll go search for closing documents and manually type in, the realtor's name or the lender's name in order to find those closing documents in their email amongst all the chaos. But as far as sending marketing emails or updated touch point emails along the sales cycle for a home buyer or a home seller, it just gets lost in the sauce, basically. So we needed a new channel. We needed something more cutting edge. What we did is we really focused on mobile first marketing, Facebook Messenger real estate chatbots. We were one of the first people developing those. And then now we also work with SMS text. So all of that helps to get much higher open rates. In fact, we get open rates instead of 15 or 20% from email, we're getting 80, 90% open rates. And the exposure through the buying and selling journey is so much higher. So we focus on adding value with these small little snippets, educational stuff, entertaining stuff, bite-sized content. And we really had to adjust our previous lead nurture campaigns via email to a more mobile-friendly format where you're not sending a novel to somebody. It's got to be quicker, bite-sized, and have them click a link and re-engage. And what we do is we then increase their lead score based on that engagement through the process. So 100%, we don't just sell internet leads. That's not what we do. Our goal is to generate a qualified sales conversation from social media. That's our goal.
I think that's pretty cool. I mean, so just say that again, because I've never really heard that before. And well, I get that because I'm a sales and marketing type mindset. But so just repeat that, because I think that is super valuable.
Absolutely. So I come from a sales background. I didn't want a bunch of unqualified leads to call and waste my time either. So when I founded this company, I thought, what's the most valuable thing we can offer a real estate broker at that time was the focus, that has amazing sales practice and they're just looking for new opportunity. A qualified sales conversation, a human on the phone that already knows who this realtor is. They've already been exposed to some of their content online. They've already seen some videos. They've built some kind of affinity towards the broker prior to even talking to them. That is the most valuable thing that we can generate. And all of that can occur nowadays through social media, through the power of video, and through a system if you leverage it correctly, because you can really learn, do research. And most home buyers and sellers are already doing this research. You're just helping them find you, right? They're already looking online prior to calling. They're already doing a lot of this stuff, but you can just get them higher up in that journey and build that relationship before they build a relationship with anybody else.
Yeah, I gotcha. And I mean, like, let me just ask one more lead generation sales type question is like, so I would tend to agree. The conversation that I have with my team is emails on its way to, the fax room. You've got to be on the text. You got to be doing video. You've got to be sending photos. This is what people are being preconditioned now too. So, I mean, what's next after the text, or is that not here yet? Is there something do you have insight into what's coming down the line next? Because I believe that email's almost redundant, or it is going to be soon.
Right. Yes, I do. So I go to a lot of tech conferences. I mean, I own a real estate tech company. I got to stay up on it, right?
It's good.
So
credibility.
Right. So rich media is coming very soon, which you won't have to change anything. You won't have to download another app. Basically, all carriers are beginning to adopt the iOS type of messaging experience, meaning the Apple iMessages. Apple iMessages, it's a separate app on your phone. It has GIFs. It has all these different app plugins that you can do within iMessage, right? It's more of like an app experience, similar to Facebook Messenger, where you can send 25 megabyte videos and you can do everything that email could do plus infinity, right? There's so much more that you can do, and it's so much more personalized and fun. So you'll look for more of that, but also when interacting with brands, what's going to be different is you'll be able to text a business like you text your friend on your phone, through iMessage, through Facebook Messenger, through WhatsApp. It's already happening globally. For example, if you want to look at what the future will be on your mobile device, actually, China has pioneered WeChat. WeChat is about 100 different apps all in one. You can text and get your laundry dry cleaning service. You can text and get a confirmation on your new Mini Cooper that you just bought at a local car dealership. You can text in and get, automated responses from a business. There are businesses that make over $100 million a year and have no website in China. They just have WeChat. So that's where everything is going, is people want instant response, but they want it on their time. So what lends itself perfectly to that? Text, right? You don't have to call a business. In the US, still, it's super common to sit there on hold, listen to the automatic voice recognition technology, which is one of the most hated pieces of technology ever developed, right? All that stuff is, in my opinion, going to start to go to the wayside because we're going to adopt what's more common in other countries. I'm in Bali, Indonesia right now. I can text a business on WhatsApp and they reply. They have a chat thread with one of their customer service representatives on a computer at the front desk. So that type of quick interaction, quick question answer. And then of course, once you get a high volume of the same questions, you can automate responses. And that's then the second next frontier, and something that we're already developing, which is natural language processing and conversational AI. Because once you start to get a lot of conversational data, you can now then further save time for your business or for your client and start to automate some of those responses, because the answer is the same. Hey, what's the best number to call you? Bam. Hey, what are your hours? Bam. Right? They're getting these automated responses for the 80% of questions that are the same. And then those 20% that come through, now your customer service representatives have the time to field them because they're not bogged down with all the other stuff, and they can actually answer those custom buying type questions, boom, right away, and they can give it the human attention that it needs. Same thing goes for real estate, and we're building this similar system to where we can automate some of the redundant stuff, schedule them for a call next week or whenever it's comfortable for them, and get that on your calendar so you can have that conversation, but also deliver them value instantly, right when they need it. Whether it's midnight on Saturday and they're watching Netflix and they're just scrolling and they come in as a new lead, they have a quick question, boom, we can get them that instant answer, but then also sell the call. Hey, let's catch up for a call on Monday, right? And so that is what we believe where things are going based on what's happening in other countries and trends. But it's already, here. The future is now. We've already built it, and it's here for real estate in the United States as well.
Right. And I mean, it just what we're doing right now. I mean, what we're doing right now, you're in Bali, it's 3:30 in the morning.
Right.
I'm in Ohio, it's 3:30 in the afternoon, and we're having a high definition, audio video conversation. That wasn't even thought about 20 years ago, or maybe it was, but now it's just so easy to do. I'd mentioned before, I was in Bali in like 2005. People were using their Motorola Razors at the time, their analog phones. They're, before the iPhone, and they had banking functions right there. And I was like, how is this possible that we're, so far behind? But that's fascinating. Can't wait to see what you have coming up next. So thanks for sharing all that. I like to wind this down with a few questions and just wrap it up. Are you a reader of books?
Yes.
Is there good? We're putting together a good reading list. From the tech world or the business world, is there something that people in the real estate realm should be putting on their reading list?
Yes. A lot of personal development books. I've done 10 years of personal development. I was recruited right out of high school for a commission-only sales job for CUTCO cutlery and vector marketing. And so very early on, right, 18 years old, I was going to personal development conferences. And if you're going to a lot of those, you'll start to hear similarities, which is good, because when things are said in different ways, then that sometimes is how you can reaffirm it or finally act on it. So the book that I'm reading right now is a perfect example of that. It's nothing you haven't heard, but it's put in a very concise way, and it's maybe put in a different way to where you'll actually act on it. It's called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. It was recommended to me by one of my masterminds, and I would highly recommend it. The story is great. It's like the third edition, so it's been around for a while. It's been around for about 15, 20 years, but he puts the consistency of effort and the compound effect and the aspect of committing to a goal long term in a very simple format. And if you want the Cliff Notes version, the things that are easy to do are also the things that are easy not to do. So every day when you make these little decisions, guess what? Those are compounding over time. You know, the eighth wonder of the world, compound interest. Well, if you're compounding in the wrong way, guess where you're going to be in 10 years, right? So he goes into much more in depth, explains the entrepreneurial roller coaster and why it happens, the ups and downs, and how to escape it. And so it's really a great read. It's honestly pretty short, but it's fantastic. And I just love how he frames that concept of consistent effort, building good habits, and sticking with it for a long period of time.
And you've been doing this for a while, reading books like that. It's not uncommon to hear. I haven't heard about this title yet, but I mean, it is. I mean, it's feeding the mind, right? Just like building muscle or maintaining it, maintaining your fitness level. You've got to just hear the same thing, maybe framed differently, for it to eventually be recalled when you actually need it. I don't know. But I subscribe to that, and I'll definitely, we post all these links up on the show notes, and we've got a lengthy list. So thank you for sharing that. Do you have a pro tip for the audience, something that you truly believe helps you be successful in your day to day?
Yes. I want to share something that is relatable to everyone. So rather than focus on something in particular for like lead generation, which might alienate some people, or something specifically on the retail side of real estate, which might alienate some people, I want to focus on more of a philosophical aspect, which is know your strengths. I know I hear this a lot: to automate, to outsource. Well, guess what? None of that matters if you don't know what you're good at, what you enjoy. You need to know that in order to then focus on your income producing activity, the aspects of your business that you enjoy. And look, I'm guilty of this. I try to do it as much as possible, but I'll still be doing things that I don't like, that are, below my pay grade, if you will. So with that being said, you just got to know what your strengths are, play to those strengths. And then guess what? Believe in the abundance mindset that there is a person out there that not only will do what you hate to do in your business, but they'll probably do that one aspect better than you and love it. There are people that love doing admin and hate the sales part. I'm the opposite. Like, I love having a conversation with somebody, seeing if we can help them, identifying their problems, helping them get over their fears of like, I love that stuff, Some people are like, oh my gosh, no way. If you could just close people and bring me the work, I'll work on it in the back end all day. So with that being said, know your strengths, know where you can then outsource aspects of your business. And that is how you will not only make more money, but you'll also enjoy it more, and you'll be able to scale it farther than if everything flows through you. Because if you're a solopreneur, it can be pretty miserable. I've been there. And now, with the team, it's much more enjoyable.
Thanks for sharing that. It's great advice, great actionable advice. I think anyone listening to this podcast today will be able to at least hopefully pause and reflect on that, and sleep on it and wake up in the morning and get the pen and paper out and say, this is what I'm really good at, and this is what makes me happy, and this is I gotta eliminate this from my daily work diet. I forgot to ask, so before I wind this up, I love to. Are you in all 50 states, and is this service applicable for real estate agents in Indonesia?
Yes. So we actually are global. We have a couple of clients in different countries, and the system still works. A lot of the automated response is built around American English, but turns out most developing countries or other first world countries, that's totally fine. So, we'll work on multi-language later, but our focus right now is, make sure that the systems work and that they're as good as possible based on the American real estate market. So we're definitely in 50 states, Canada as well. We have clients in the Netherlands, New Zealand. We haven't broken into Bali or Indonesia in particular, but this could be great for like the villa vacation market. And like, there's so many applications for it. So, don't hesitate to basically just do some research, find us online. Either STEEZY.Digital or realnurture.io. And if this is something that you want to automate and eliminate from your day-to-day and, kind of upgrade in your real estate business, then we are here for you. That's what we do.
Perfect. Well, look, I really appreciate you waking up in the middle of the night to share this awesome success story in this great product and service that you have, on the Real Estate Locker Room Show. And really, there you have it, folks. I hope you picked up some actionable advice, and check out the links to Steezy and Nurture.io. And thanks for joining us, Jeffrey. Make sure to check out the Real Estate Locker Room Show. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, all of those places. And if you like what this show is all about, I'd be super grateful if you would leave us a review so that other like-minded real estate professionals and investors just like you are able to find us when they're looking for, real estate content online. And the post-game report, show notes, links, and additional content related to today's conversation with Jeffrey Brogger will be available on johncarneyonline.com/podcast. This is episode number 88. All right, folks, remember to stay focused on your goals, have fun, and stay in the game. I'm your host, John Carney, and until next week, work hard, play hard, and raise the bar. And one more time, Jeffrey, thank you for taking the time out of your sleep time to share this story with the audience.
100%. I'm glad to be a guest on the show and looking forward to sharing it with all my peers. So thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.